Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending this webinar offered by the European School Education Platform, the European Commission's platform for school education in Europe. My name is Maria Elena, and I will be the hostess of this session. Once again, this is a recorded webinar, and all the material will be uploaded on the European School Education Platform in the coming days. My colleague Marta will share with you the website where you will be able to find the presentation and the recording of this session. Before we begin, I would like to remind you of some important technicalities. Following the General Data Protection Regulation, your microphones and your cameras have been disabled. However, we invite you to share any thoughts or questions through the chat. Also, we kindly ask you not to share any personal information during this session. Instead, you can always use the Connect tab on the European School Education Platform for partner finding and collaborations. I would also like to introduce you to a very useful tool that you can use in case of any language difficulties you might face. It's the Captions tool. And here you can find some information on how to activate it. With this tool, basically, you're able to add subtitles and live captions to this event. To do so, as you can see on your screens, please click the button More at the bar on top of your screen, then move to Language and Speech and click Live Captions. You can also install this function by going to the button More again, click on Settings and turn on the captions in the Accessibility section. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to share them through the chat and we will try to help you and support you as much as possible. So, with no further delays, today we have the honor of welcoming Ioana Udrescu. Ioana is a dedicated educator and project coordinator, passionate about transforming mathematics education through innovative methods. Ioana, among others, has led multiple Erasmus Plus projects and has almost more, I may say, 10-year experience in mathematics education and teacher training. Ioana is here today to give us some insights on how we can make mathematics more engaging and accessible for our students through the lens of the M THGAN project. A project that reimagines math education by integrating games, technology, and real-world connections to provide an enjoyable learning experience to all students. But with no further delays, I would like to welcome Ioana to this session. You can share your screen, Ioana. The floor is yours now.
Thank you so much. Just a second. I think you have to close the sharing.
Yes. You can share your screen. Well, in the meantime, okay, great. I can see it. In the meantime, I see some people in the chat mentioning where are they watching us from. Hello, everyone. I think, Ioana, we are ready to start, right?
Yeah, great.
Great.
As long as you can see my screen, because
yes.
I'm just inside the presentation, so I can't see what you're
yes, we can see it. We can see it perfectly. No worries. In case something happens, as I mentioned earlier, we will be here supporting you. Okay.
Perfect. Just let me know if
Great.
something is off.
Everything is fine so far.
So, yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar that is being brought to you, as Maria Elena said, from the European School Education Platform together with eTwinning. I am Ioana Cristina Udrescu. I was very pleased to receive the invitation to share with you the insights from what we have achieved through the M THGAN project. Like it was mentioned before, my background is in education. I have been teaching for 20 years, but for the past 10 years, I've also been working into non-formal education through the association, which is an NGO that I'm working for. Yeah, in the latest years, I guess, I have been sort of exploring different ways in which we can teach and help students learn mathematics in ways that are more engaging for them. because I think education is not just about teaching, it's also about transforming the ways that students experience learning. So that's why we've started this project. And before we get deep into the project, let's see briefly what we're gonna be having today. So sort of a roadmap of the agenda. So we'll start with the brief information about the research that we have done before starting the actual project. Then we'll be having some information about the project itself and the project results. And finally, if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. So about the project. Well, to have a basic idea about why we have started it, I want you to know that the primary focus of the project is not and how mathematics is being taught to gifted students or to those who already excel in Olympics or even have gifts like prizes in these competitions. Instead, we wanted to support those students that actually fail, those students that struggle with different math concepts, those who find the subject to be intimidating or even frustrating. And maybe you ask yourself why? Well, because I don't know how many times have you actually entered the class, either as a teacher or even if you reflect back on your days in school when you were just a student, and you just felt like sort of a sense of unease or even dread, not from yourself, but maybe from some of your peers. And how many times have you seen the faces of your students change the minute you enter the class as a math teacher because they know that it's math time? Well, I know I have, because let's be honest, the way math is being perceived by students has changed a lot in the past years. And at least in our case, the teachers from Romania and the partner countries in the project, we know we felt that frustration and also the unsatisfaction, because you don't feel good when you see that your students don't perform as well as you would like them to, or as like to have a balance between the effort that you put as a teacher and their achievements. And another reason we started the project is because we know there are a lot of teachers still, especially the ones who have like a lot of years of experience behind them, that are still sort of focused in traditional learning methods, in teaching, focusing on memorizing procedures and students just rehearsing things and learning by heart concepts instead of helping them to actually understand the concept. So we were aware that there was the need to provide effective training to help the teachers so that we can actually help the students. So yeah, basically we have focused on studying different theories that we thought might be useful in math education. And one of them was realistic mathematics education. This theory basically emphasizes the fact that mathematics should start, like any lesson should start with real world problems that are meaningful for students. Because basically it's not just about teaching different concepts. It's about helping them see that doing mathematics in different contexts makes sense. So instead of starting a lesson with, I don't know, any abstract concept, this theory encourages the teacher to begin with a situation that the student can basically relate to, and then gradually helping them to navigate different mathematical concepts. Let's take fractions, for example. It's a very easy concept, but instead of just starting directly with fractions, denominator, numerator, and so on, it's easier to just provide them the concept I don't know, using chocolate bars or Legos, or having them visualize a pizza or a pie being cut into different pieces so that they can see how the fractions are built. So just easy examples can make a big difference when it comes to students that have difficulties in understanding abstract concepts. Another theory that we have been using in our project, it's Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory, that is basically saying that it's very important to focus on social interaction used into learning. So basically knowledge, it's constructed through collaboration, and this collaboration can be done either between the teacher and the students, but also between students themselves. For instance, it's very useful to focus your lessons by adding collaboration, discussions, peer feedback between the students. Because imagine when you're just providing I don't know, worksheet to your students, and sometimes it's easy if they just do it like individually. But what if they don't work individually? What if they work collaboratively within a group, or at least in pairs? Because what I remember, even from way back when I was a student, we were always paired by our teacher in the classroom, and we were always told, help your colleague. And sometimes that felt sort of a burden, because yeah, but I would waste my time to teach another colleague. After some time, we actually realized it was not a burden, it was not a waste of time, because while we were struggling to explain things we already knew to our peers, we were actually consolidating the concepts that we already knew, but it helped us to have a better view about them. We've also used constructivist theory. This one emphasizes that learners actively construct their own understanding and their own knowledge about the world, or I don't know, it could be done through experiments, could be done through different experiences, or even reflection. So it's about empowering students to become their own masters when it comes to learning. So rather than just passively giving them different concepts or information in like a traditional classroom, it's better to just help them explore different things, and the teacher then just plays the role of facilitator, and it would guide the students in their path of discovering different things. So for instance, instead of just giving students formulas for areas, or just giving them different theories, is better to help them to discover these theories, or to discover different formulas for areas. The difference is much bigger, first of all, because there's the joy of them discovering something, but also because it sticks with them. And for instance, if during an exam they just can't remember that formula, the fact that they have managed to discover it on their own, it would help them to redo the process another time. We've also used gamification. I think it's the easiest method that any teacher could actually embed into their lesson if they want to achieve a more enjoyment, more engagement from the students. Of course, we've also used nature-based learning, and that's because it's good, we think, to just show students that patterns, experiments, everything can be done with the help of nature examples, or things that we can see outside, like I don't know, like finding out heights of mountains, of trees, and so on, and also see the different patterns, like symmetries in different nature based contexts. And of course, we've integrated technology, and not just because that's a trend, but because it's very useful to help them visualize better. There are a lot of aiding platforms that could be useful for the students, but also because there are a lot of interactive simulations that can be used in teaching mathematics. They can, for instance, use VR glasses or a different software to better see 3D figures when we teach geometry. And yeah, there are actually a lot of different technology that may be used into lessons. So let's see a little bit about the project. We haven't done it alone. Like any Erasmus Plus project, it was done through cooperative work. And in this one, we were together 6 partners from 6 different countries. It was Asociația de Lifelong from Romania, so the NGO that I'm representing, another one from Turkey, a tech company from Norway, another NGO from Italy, another one from Poland, and we've also had another company from Greece. And you might wonder, where are the schools? Well, we've had actually a lot of schools that have joined our project, but as associated partners, so they were not like directly involved into the creation of the results, but they have been involved in testing, refining, in the trainings, and many other steps of achieving our results and goals of the project. And because I mentioned the goals, let's have a brief look at the objectives that we have set before starting the project. Firstly, we wanted to enhance the teachers' professional profiles. We've also wanted to strengthen STEAM competencies for students because we recognized the growing importance of these skills in today's world. We've also focused on sharing positive experiences and innovative practices with teachers and educators who could learn and to inspire them to use the practices. Fourthly, we have sort of tried to enhance cooperation for improving math education in Europe, and we think we have actually achieved that. Then we have the last 3 objectives to develop a classroom activity guideline, creation of the THGAN game, and development of the THGAN MOOC. These refer to the results that we have achieved in our project. And yeah, let's see what we have actually achieved. We will basically break down a little bit of these objectives that I have mentioned. In order to enhance the teacher skills, we have concentrated on improving the digital competencies of the teachers. We've had targeted training with teachers from all 6 countries involved. We have also encouraged the use of innovative digital tools of ICT in order to make the math skills, let's say, stronger. We boosted critical thinking, we boosted creativity, and we've tried to use coding, gamification, game-based learning, and also to teach them how to take math outside the class, because we've had nature galleries and different hands-on living experiences they could learn how to embed into their classes. And when it comes to students, as I have mentioned, the focus was to strengthen their STEAM competencies. And our lessons were not, let's say, fully math lessons always, because we've also had ICT teachers teaching while using math. We've also had geography teachers, biology teachers. Somehow mathematics, I think it's everywhere. Of course, also physics and chemistry. So basically, we have designed a lot of activities. You'll see later in the next slides. And we have taught the teachers how to utilized design toolkits in order to have fun activities with their students. The third objective, to share positive experiences. Well, we have actually sort of exceeded our initial expectations, because we have been, let's say, grateful for a good collaboration with the Scientix platform. We have participated in different events co-organized with Scientix. We've had a training ambassador session. We've had STEM Goes Digital together with Scientix and M THGAN and Physics projects. And yeah, in this seminar, for instance, ministries of education, teachers, researcher, industry partners, well, many representatives have been together to find ways to reshape how science education is being taught in Europe. And we've also had different events and workshops, not only locally, but also with other teachers, for instance, Slovenian teachers who have joined the K-Action project. So, yeah, as I said, it basically exceeded a bit what we had hoped for. And then we've cooperated on improving math education in Europe. Like mentioned before, we have had cooperation with different schools. In each partner country, we have collaborated with 5 to 10 schools, actually, in order to test the activities that we have done, but also to get nice feedback from the teachers. And teachers from different schools have also been involved in our LTDAs. We've had 4 throughout the 2 years of the project. So, yeah. And yeah, objective number 5, this one refers to one of the project results, and I'll be talking more about it in the following slides. The 6th one refers to the creation of the game, and the 6th one to the creation of the M THGAN MOOC. So just to get deep into the project results, I would mention that all of them are available on our project website, mthgan.eu, and they will stay there after, because the project is already completed, but it will remain to be used, and all the outputs are free to be downloadable from our website. So let's have a look at the first project result. It's the guidebook to create engaging classroom activities, and it's not just a guide, it's actually a collection of activities. It has more than 60 activities that have been carefully crafted by all the project partners. You will be able to see, if you navigate the website, that it's available in 7 languages. So all the activities have been designed in English initially, but then we have translated them into the partners' languages. So they are available in Polish, Norwegian, Turkish, Romanian, Italian, and Greek. And all of them are on the website. I will be sharing with you some of them, because as I mentioned, there are more than 60 different activities. They are displayed in sort of a gallery on our website, and you will see them in 2 different colors. The colors refer to the different age group of the students. So the blue ones, they are designed for primary school students, while the green one are designed for older students, so 5th to 8th grade. I will give you some insights into some of them, just to give you an idea. So the first one, exploring math and art with Archimboldo's paintings. It's an example in which we have used students how to decompose artwork, how to solve math exercises, and then to use color recognition to rearrange different fruits and vegetables in order to redo the puzzle of different paintings. And the second example, Find the Right Way, it's actually an activity done with students. It's focused on having them solve a set of nice math exercises, and then they have to code a photon robot to find its way through different possible answers that are being displayed in the mat. And they have to learn how to code a robot to go through those answers. Then the next one, again, for a primary school education, it's a fun activity that you can do with your students, the small ones, not especially inside the classroom, but more during the breaks, because they can practice outside in the schoolyard, and they just jump off from a point to another and do some additions, subtractions, so easy calculations while having fun outdoor. There's another activity about calculating the age of a tree. So this one can be done during a hike or an excursion outside, or even in the courtyard if you have trees, of course. So in this activity, students are learned how to determine different type of trees, how to measure the diameter, and then how to estimate their age based on the type of trees, and they have some formulas that they can use. In the next example about the building a geodesic dome, well, in this example, the students focus on the mathematics component of the STEAM, and they explore the concept of geometry by building a geodesic dome, and they get to use Tinkercad, GeoMag, and yeah, this activity also integrates technology, engineering, art, and of course math, and it allows students to explore mathematics and geometric principles, but in a more creative way, let's say. Access in the city, this is another wonderful activity that you can do during any trip with your students, because you can simply mark some points on a map and then provide the students with the Cartesian coordinates and have them move through the territory to discover different landmarks, take pictures, selfies, but also use math, of course. So as you could see in the toolkit, it covers a wide range of topics. We also have many other focused on art and technology, different games, nature, STEAM, more outdoor learning, and basically we wanted to provide teachers diverse options to choose how to engage their students. We are aware that math teachers do a very important hard work, but it's important to show their students the purpose of each lesson in order to keep them motivated. Otherwise, it's our work, it's even harder. Okay, just to give you an idea, some photos from our pilot activities. This one is from Access and the City. We have tested it in Naples. We've celebrated Fibonacci Day, and this activity was actually amazing. We have done this 2 years in a row, and we've managed to actually have more schools than we thought to join our idea. This one is from the activity, How Tall is That Tree? Well, in some countries, they've had to measure the height of some poles because they didn't have any trees in their courtyard, but yeah, it happens if you're inside the city. In this activity, basically, they go way back where Thales has accidentally discovered the Thales theorem while trying to find out the height of a pyramid. And so the students are being taught about how Thales had made the discovery, and then they end up building their own artifacts in order to do these measurements on their own. And they get to test it. We've had a lot of outdoor learning experiences. You can see here some photos with some of our colleagues designing the courtyard or the gym in order to practice some of the activities. We've also had some activities in a park with dinosaurs. And we've also experienced making decorations, but also study the different positions of circles for Christmas. And it's time to talk about the second project result. It's the M THGAN Adventure. It's a game that has two different setups. So it's also as a board game, but it's also available as an escape room, as a digital game. You might wonder why board games? Well, that's an easy answer I can give, because they're a big dose of fun, at least in my family and the ones of my friends. We always use board games to play with our kids, and we know they're fun. So we wanted to bring them inside the classroom because they're a good way to teach cooperation, problem solving, and well, yeah, I guess we're also a little bit old. So this is the map that we have used for the board game. As you can see, it's a European map, and it's guiding the participants, the players, through different countries. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we were 6 partners, but in order to navigate all the 6 countries, we had to cross some neighboring countries. So we have decided to mark them on the map and to have some challenges for them as well. So basically the players are starting up in Norway and then have to cross Denmark, Germany, Poland, Ukraine, Romania, Turkey, Greece, Bulgaria, and Italy. And of course, the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, in order to have a safe passage. And there are in total 120 questions. In each country, there are 5 questions. Actually, 10 questions. There are 10 questions because for every challenge, there are 2 levels of difficulty. So, so basically, we have 60 cards, but for each card, there are 2 levels of difficulty. We thought it's better to have something more easy for younger students and something a bit more challenging for older students. And here are some of the cards. They were designed by a Turkish artist. We were lucky to have his collaboration, but for some of the things, we've also used real photos when it was possible, of course. So you have already seen photos that were cards, sorry, that were from Turkey, from Norway. These are from Italy, Poland, and this is the back side of the cards. You can see these thematic blocks that mark the same colors that you could see on the board. And they're from nature, science, tech, art, and there's a 5th one, which is the wizard card. And this one, it's sort of a bonus card in which players, they can use it in order to fix some of the mistakes they have done. So basically, if they get one question wrong, then they can choose to use their bonus card in order to have sort of a redo. And yes, basically in the cards, we've had those QR codes that they can scan in order to be directed to the website where they have all the information plus the questions. In case the game is played without technology access, then we've had everything put together into a guidebook, sort of an instructions book for the game. So you can see here for each card, after they scan the QR code or check it out in the handbook, they can get some information about the image displayed, and then there are the two possible questions. So first one, it's easier level, and the second one a bit more challenging. Here are some images. Like I mentioned, we have been testing the board with a lot of students. And after the initial testing, we have done some tiny changes in adjusting the level of difficulty. Okay, and now I guess it's time to talk about the third project result. It's the M THGAN MOOC. We have developed this comprehensive online course for teachers and educators. It's grouped in 6 different modules. It's also available in 7 languages, just like the other project results. And it's been designed in order to help teachers to stay up to date with different methods and to help them explore the methods that we have used throughout the project. It includes different interactive elements, practical examples. It shows how we have used different activities from our collection of that you have already seen in the first project result. And it's basically designed to be quite flexible, meaning that you don't have a time limit, so every teacher can go through the course in its own time, in its own pace. Basically, once you go on the website mthgan.eu and /MOOC, you choose the language that you want, you create yourself an account, and then you just navigate the course. And the same course, it's also available in the Scientix model. But in this platform, it's only available in English. Also, on the Scientix model, you can go through it in your own pace. So, yeah, I strongly encourage you to try it. And well, what I can say is all the resources that we have developed are designed for everyone that it's involved in math education. It could be teachers, tutors, could be parents. Yeah. So thank you for listening, and I'm here for you in case you have any questions. Just feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Johanna. I will go through the chat now. I see that people are requesting the link to the MOOC. I think that you can find the MOOC from the website of the project itself. Am I right? I am pasting it here again. If you go to the results section, you will be able to see it. Johanna, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's perfectly correct.
Okay, great. So, yeah, indeed, it's time for the Q&A. You can share your questions in the chat. In the meantime, I will re-upload my presentation. I hope you can see it. Okay, perfectly. Okay. So maybe we can, I can make some questions myself if that's okay, because I see a lot of people mentioning that they found the webinar very interesting. I see some teachers, they really wanted to understand how they can learn to support their students, their teachers of students with special educational needs, and they wanted to explore how they could support their students and learn correct and new approaches to STEM education. I see a lot of reactions in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, so of course, special education needs students are nowadays in all the classrooms. We're aware of that. I think the easiest way is to have a very good collaboration with the support teacher. I know that at least in Romania, this collaboration is not always the best, but it's needed. And I've seen other countries in which the two teachers are sort of co-teaching, they're together in the classroom, and that's, I think, the optimal way of approaching, because it's definitely challenging when you're having like 25 kids at least in a classroom to pay attention to all of them, because they're the gifted students, they're the ones with different difficulties, and of course the majority of students, and it's very hard for one teacher to focus on all of them. But in this case, I think that learning posts are sort of the best, because if you group the students in small circles, or I don't know, it doesn't have to be circles, but anyway, it enables you as a teacher to just sort of rotate among them and to see closely what challenges they have. And of course, there's the need to personalize not only the methods, but also the resources that you're providing to the students, because we have to acknowledge that not all of them have the same capabilities. And what I think it's one point that we should focus is that we can't compare, right? So we can't compare students one with another, but neither we can sort of compare their progress. We just have to focus on a progress, regardless how small it is. I remember one time I was teaching to one student, and she was in the 5th grade, and she went through a lot of surgeries throughout her life. So she was like, you know, not just with a moderate disability, but with a severe one. And actually, the progress that gave me the greatest joy was that she was able, after 1 month, to do simple additions, because she was not able to do that, not even that before. So as I said, yeah, it's not comparing with achieving, like, you know, first prize in a Balkaniad or a different Olympics in maths, but to see a progress as little as possible in the hardest kids that you end up working with. That's actually that's a joy. So it means you've done your work as good as you were able to. But what's more important when it comes to teaching to students with special disabilities is to consult the other specialized team inside the school, because there's always a therapist, there's always a support teacher, or at least there should be. And you should see what methods work, because they work on one-on-one with the student, so they get to know that student much better. So if you get those insights from the support teacher, then you would be, it's more likely that you're going to achieve the things you want to achieve with it.
Thank you very much. I think it's very important also to encourage teachers working in the working with children with special education and special learning needs, and provide them with as much support as possible. And here I would like to ask you, and then read some comments coming from the chat. I would like to ask you about the assessment methods. I'm not a maths teacher. I am more in the humanities field. So I would be very interested in hearing about the assessment methods. you created a project to support teachers, help them support their students' learning regarding maths and maths education. But how do you think students with, let's say, special learning needs, additional learning needs should be assessed?
Well, first of all, I mean, the first step is for those students to actually get the diagnosis. Because with the proper diagnostic, then they can get actually special assessment. If those, let's say, paperwork details are not in order, then as a teacher, it's sort of impossible to have special assessment for them. But if they are having a diagnostic, if they get recommendation that there could be a longer time given for them during an assessment, they can also get somebody to write for them in case they have dysgraphia. They can have somebody read their assignments if they have dyslexia, and there are a lot of aiding aids they can actually get. The point is they do need the diagnostic and the recommendations. And afterwards, like I mentioned before, there's the collaboration with the support teacher, and then they will get a specialized learning plan. So the curricula for them, it's a bit different. And so would be the assessment. And the assessment can be done by the teacher and also by the support teacher as well. So it's it's not just the task of the teacher to do the assessment. It's again a collaboration work. But
I believe
most of like the national exam and everything, they're usually standard. But when the prognostic is provided, then the support teacher, if it's like a smaller exam, but if not, this is done like in a more centralized method. The assessment itself, it's being adapted to fit the needs of each child.
And I believe this can be adjusted to each case, because not all the curricula, not all the national curricula, I mean the countries have the same, let's say, legislations, laws, rules regarding, indeed. So it's maybe it's like a bit on the hand of the teacher how they will.
Sometimes yes, sometimes it's in the hand of the teacher, but sometimes there are also like national regulations that we all need to follow. Of course, I think the most challenging part is actually to have the children diagnosed. In some cases, for the parents, this is still like a taboo question. They prefer not to discuss, or they prefer not to acknowledge the fact that the child has one way a disability or another. So it's not easy to discuss with the parents and have them acknowledge this. And this is sort of a very sad point, because getting the help that they need, they could actually, overpass the difficulties in case there's not the major one, of course.
Well, education is a multi-factored, let's say, process, and of course the collaboration between stakeholders, parents, teachers is very important as well. We have seen this also in the past in some webinars and some courses that we have. But thank you very much for your input. Indeed, it's very useful and helpful. But I would like to pass now to the questions in the chat. First of all, we have a question about the project. Is the project referring to students 16 to 17 years old?
No, we have made the project for younger students, so primary and secondary, but lower secondary school. So 6 to 14.
But do you think teachers could use the material and adjust them a bit in their own classroom settings?
Of course. I mean, most of the activities are activities that you can, of course, increase the level of difficulty and adapt them for your classes. And it's something easy to do. We just wanted to give a large area of different examples just to show them that math can be basically found anywhere, and just to enable them to increase, let's say, the creativity.
Thank you very much for your input. Of course, I also believe that if you find some interesting resources online, some relevant activities, if you really want to implement them in your classroom as a teacher, you will find a way to adjust them, or even change them a bit, put your own personal let's say touch in the activities. And I would like to maybe close with a final comment, coming from Adri. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Adri is mentioning that we develop a curriculum project involving 33 students, including also a child with special needs. The student with the special needs is on the autism spectrum and has a preference for the subject in geography. It's a thought, it's a comment, but I would like to ask you if you have noticed that students with maybe some additional learning needs are more interested towards STEM courses like maths, geography.
Well, I can't say I have seen that many interested in math. I mean, sometimes they are, of course, but not all the time. Maybe because it's more abstract, I guess. Of course, for students with autistic spectrum disorder, yeah, they have a preference for numbers, or anything that it's like giving them comfort, that like it's not changing that much. So I would understand the preference for geography. But I think to use STEM or STEAM to work with students regardless of their disabilities, that's like really nice, because they can be involved in many things, and if they get the support they're needed or the instructions they are required to achieve something, they will do it. And we have made many STEM projects with students coming from disadvantaged areas, so they were having a not such an easy background, let's say, and we saw they're highly interested into exploring different things that they don't have access to, like coding robots, using Makey to code different things. So that's actually really interesting. That's why we were actually trying to put the STEAM component into our project, because we know it's something that actually it's very engaging for students regardless of their disabilities or disadvantages.
So to conclude, I think I am allowed to encourage teachers here to innovate, try to innovate and look for new teaching approaches through the support of STEAM and STEM, of course. Is that correct, Johanna?
I hope so. I mean, that's the point. That's what we are trying to achieve. Yeah. To
Great.
have more students, not fear mathematics anymore, and just try to reach them with different methods. We have to try anything.
True. So we can conclude with this thought. We can conclude, we can encourage, and basically it's on the teacher's hand to try to use more innovative ways, learn also, focus and invest on their professional and personal development as well to support teachers. I know sometimes the time management question comes on the spotlight, but as Johanna also mentioned, don't be afraid to innovate and let's say risk a bit. So I think, Johanna, do you have any final comments here? Something that you would like to add?
Yeah, just remember to give the students purpose in the lesson as well. If they feel engaged, they are more likely to go home with something from the class, and that's the things that we have to focus more on. If they're just passive standbyers inside the lesson, then there's the chances of them remembering anything are quite low. So the point is to find ways to activate the students in our lessons.
And with this final thought, I think we can thank all of you for joining us today as we explored how to make mathematics more engaging and accessible through some innovative approaches and practices introduced through the MTHGAN project. But before we close, I would like to remind you of some upcoming learning events on the European School Education platform, but also share with you a very short survey. I think my colleague Marta has already shared it in the chat. We invite you to share your feedback with us and let us know how this session went for you as well. And we hope that you're leaving this webinar inspired with some practical strategies and resources. And together, let's continue to transform math education into an exciting and meaningful experience for all our students. We wish you a great afternoon. Here you can see all the learning events. And with these very positive messages, we would like to conclude today's session. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Goodbye.